This is a little tutorial how you can crop your images and get rid of some excess wall behind your artwork, and to fix the saturation in your colors and so on in Pixlr. So I'm going to start by just downloading this image, and we're going to open it in the Pixlr editor, because that's the one that you can use at home. So we'll open up the image that you just saw. There we go. And there we have it. Okay, so what we need to do is, first of all, we need to crop this because there's a lot of stuff going on around it. Before we do anything, we're going to go to background and click on the unlock layer. We'll double click on that so that all of these layers up here will be opened. First of all, I'm just going to move this table this window just a little bit so you can see everything there. Right. Cropping tool to your left, and I'll start by just cropping out some of this. So we have some of this away, and press enter, and we've got a little bit less of this stuff around it that we don't need. The other thing I'm going to do is to go to Edit and Free Transform. Now what I want to do is just to make this a little bit more straight. You can see it was like that, so I want to make it a little bit more straight towards the edges. I think that will be quite sufficient, just like that. And I'll press enter and lock it in. From here on I can do another cropping just to make sure I get only this drawing, which it is, inside my frame here. So I'm just going to go straight out there, and I'm actually going to crop this just a little bit to clear it up, and that won't be noted once you finish it off. So having done this cropping, I'll push enter, and I can still see that there's this little thing going on here, so I'm going to do one more crop as well, just to get rid of that. There you go. And after I've done this, there is this little area here, and as I'm a perfectionist, I don't want it to be there, so we're going to just do that a little bit as well and pull it down just that little notch to get rid of that little line. There you go. Now you can see this drawing was actually white and black. It wasn't grey and black, so we're going to change that. And one of the easiest way to do that is to use adjustment and curves. In curves you'll find a sample called white point sample. I'm going to press that. I'm going to look for the whitest point in this image. There you go. And as you can see, it actually measures, so where you put this sample, where you fetch the sample, that sample will become the whitest in the image, and then it will fix everything from the darkest to the lightest in that image, depending on that white point. And that's the fix. So I'm okaying that. And another thing that I can see here is that it's a little bit like greyish. So I'd like to make some more contrast between the white and the black in this image. I go to adjustment and I go to levels. Using levels helps to just make things more, you can get the highlights to become lighter and the darker areas to become darker, and then you have the mid-range here. So what I'm going to do is to pull in, you can see here that it becomes blacker. So I'm going to pull that in just a little bit to make it a little bit more sharp. The whites, I don't really need to work with them that much because we've already done that. And also here, there's no point. But if you look at this, you get a grayish, if you pull that to the left, you get a grayish look. And then if you pull it this way, you get more contrast in it. And we'd like to have it really contrasty because that's the point of this artwork, to make that contrast and sort of seeing the airplane jump out. We'll OK that and we'll go up to File and Save. Now before we do that, I want to know how large this image is. So I go up to Image, Image Size, because remember, the image is not supposed to be larger than 5 megabytes. And I think this will be fine. If the largest number of pixels is around 3000, usually it's fine. So this one was actually okay. I'll go to File, Save, and I'm going to call this, I'm not quite sure what it was called, but I'm going to call it Airplane. And depending on where in the exhibition this is, you need to put a number. So I'm just making this up as number 2 in the exhibition. Here you can see the quality, and you can see also it's a JPEG image, which we want it to be. Here you can pull the quality up, and below here is going to appear the size, and this is fine, so we can actually pull it all the way up to 100, and that should make around, yes, just under 3000 kilobytes, which is then 3 megabytes. So we're going to OK that, and then I can save it. I'm saving it in Downloads, and it's saved. Now we're going to have a look at what it looked like from the beginning. I'm going to pull up all the history on the right and have a look at what it looked like when I open it up. Now this is what it looked like. And before you send any images in, make sure that you actually edit them, because you want the examiner to see it as it is. And this is the way you can do it. I'm going to show you one more image to edit, and it's got some colors inside. Let's just pick one which is like a detail. So that's this one. I'm downloading that one. This is the easiest way to do it. And then open image, or new, sorry, open image. And I'm looking for the image I just downloaded. And here we have it. So what we want to do is have a look at the detail. And this detail is quite sort of colourful, so what we need to do is just make it a little bit more clear. And for this one, you can see there's like this little bumpy thing here, so I still would like to, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to crop it as well, because I want to show a detail in this relief work. I'm just going to crop that in a bit and enter. I'm also, I think that looks a bit funny because it's got this part here, so I'm going to crop it a little bit differently. I'm going to do it there and then enter, and here I'll double click so it becomes a layer and not just a background layer, which opens up all of these tools at the back. Now we want to maybe make this a bit more clear. It's kind of yellowish in the background. We've got these other colors popping up here. So what you can do is work with color balance, and I'd like to take off some of the blue offset here. So I'm pulling this blue offset a little bit to the left to make this yellow a little bit more green. And then here I would like to just test where we're going, and there it's coming on. So when I'm pulling the red offset to the right, I can get a more clear yellowish color, which is what the original looks like. I'm okaying that, and then I would like to adjust the hue and saturation in this. So saturation means, you know, if it's more saturated, it's stronger, but we don't want it to look like self-glowing, and we don't want it to be grey, but we want it to be just that little extra to make it tweak. There we go. And that's using hue and saturation. Now I've got a detail. It's an additional to a sculpture, so we'll save. Before, I'll just check the image size. Now this is fine, so File, Save, and I'll just name it Additional, and pull the quality up. And here it will appear, so 2.4 megabytes, which is just fine. I'm going to save that and put it in downloads. Now when you save yours, you have to put the name or the title of the work, and then you put if it's an additional as well. Now we'll have a look at what it looked like from the beginning. This was what it looked like from the beginning, and then here is the finished additional. I hope this is helping you to edit some of your images, and please let me know how things go. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye everyone!